Hello, I'm Eric Walenza, founder of IoT One, and this is the Industrial IoT Spotlight. Every episode, I interview one expert about a project that is impacting businesses today. Visit us at iot1.com to learn more, or email me to start a discussion. Welcome back to the Industrial IoT Spotlight. I'm very happy to be joined today by Oliver Winzenried, CEO of WIBU Systems. WIBU is a technology leader in the global software licensing market. They've been in the market since 1989 and are clearly one of the innovation leaders. Notably, Oliver was named as one of the top embedded innovators this year by Embedded Computing Design, which I think talks to their experience in the space. I'm very excited to get into the topic of cybersecurity in the industrial IoT market with Oliver today. We're going to divide our conversation into three segments. So first, looking at WIBU, the company, the business model, the technology that they provide. Second, looking into the use cases in the market around cybersecurity in the industrial IoT space and how those are evolving. And finally, taking a deep dive into a couple case studies in the IoT space and looking at what an actual implementation looks like from both a business and a technology perspective. To kick off the first part of our discussion, Oliver, give us a quick background. When you started the company in 1989, the environment looked quite different. How has the company evolved in the past 20 odd years?
Yeah, hello, Eric. So thank you very much for the introduction. That's right. I founded the company together with Marcellus Buchheit, which I met at University of Karlsruhe at our university time in 1989. At this time, nobody has been talking about IoT, and it's not existing in that way. But the first PCs are coming, and so the purpose of our solutions when we founded the company in 1989, and that has been after 2 years of working on the development of the first product, it's simply copy protection for PC-based software. Because with the PCs and the digital equipment, the copy has reached the same quality than the original, which has not been the case maybe several years more back, for example, with audio recordings that have been done in analog way, and each time you do a recording, you get a loss of quality. But our focus is still on protection. It has been extended by licensing and security. So what do I mean with protection, licensing, and security? That's the main business focus of WIBU Systems. Protection means protection against reverse engineering, protection against counterfeiting. Licensing means realizing new business models by configuration, how software realized features in a device, in a machine, or on a software in the office can be used by the customer, by the user, and also integrating all this license deployment into the business process of the device manufacturer or software vendor. And security means security against tampering. And these three topics have got very much increasing awareness, and they are key in the new connected devices coming with the digitization. So we are talking today about 15 billion or more devices, sensors, actuators that are connected, and applications that have software embedded in all areas, in smart cities, in industrial automation and manufacturing, in healthcare, in transportation, in smart buildings, in retail and banking, in gaming, and of course in classic software in the office area. So lots of applications, and without security and licensing, it's not possible to realize new business models. It's not possible to run these systems in a reliable way. It would be like a Russian roulette if there are no security mechanisms and licensing mechanisms implemented.
Oliver, can you give us a bit of insight into how your technology has evolved? And so, yeah, I know that you provide both hardware and software solutions. One question that I have, for example, is how is the mix of technology evolving? Are we moving more towards or away from a hardware base for cybersecurity solutions? Is it gradual changes in the types of algorithms that you're applying, or are you seeing entirely new architectures be used for IoT solutions as opposed to the types of architectures that you would use for a computing system 15 years in the past?
Yeah, the principle is not so much different. So let me say the IP protection against reverse engineering is based on encryption of data. That can be production data, 3D printing data, encryption of software. So when it's encrypted, then reverse engineering, disassembling, decompiling is more difficult or impossible. And integrity protection for security against manipulation, for cybersecurity, is done by digitally signing the data or the software embedded in an IoT device as well. And by doing so, the device itself can double check and evaluate if data or software update is coming from an authorized party, number one, and that it's not tampered, not manipulated as well. So both can be done in that way. Of course, we are trying to use open standards wherever possible. Open standards have the advantage that third parties can evaluate the security level that can be reached. It has the advantage that products from different companies can work together in an interoperable way. So open standards are very important to support that. And you are right when you say that we are offering software-based, software-only based solutions and solutions with piece of hardware. Piece of hardware in our case, it's a security controller like in the passport, and it allows the secure storage of cryptographic keys for authentication, for asymmetric and symmetric encryption. And of course, that's a huge advantage in the level of security if these cryptographic keys never leave a secure element. Our software-only based solutions offer the same features in terms of licensing and security. Instead of using our secure element, our hardware component from WIBU systems, they use a secure element that is already available in the target system. That might be a trusted platform module, a so-called TPM chip, or it's using some kind of trusted execution environment that we see in ARM Trust Zone or in Intel SGX technology that can be adopted and used. And so with the software-only based solution, which is also in case of scalability on price, there's no cost that increase the bill of material. That fits for some low-cost sensors and high-volume, low-cost systems much better. So that's the heart of the products we are offering, storing the cryptographic keys, storing the license conditions in a very secure way, either in our own CodeMeter dongles, that's the name of these security hardware-based products, or with our software-based technology CMAC license. And they are fully compatible in means of features. And additional to that, we offer the tools to integrate the protection into the software. So that means to encrypt the software maybe in a feature-based way, so that different parts in the software, different features in the software can be assigned a different license, and also to digitally sign it. And the same applies for production data. And the last tool that we are offering is so-called CodeMeter License Central. That's a license deployment system. So the backend integration into the business process of our customer, of the OEM, of the intelligent device manufacturer, that he can fully connect the license deployment with his app store or e-commerce solution, with his ERP software, and integrate it into his business process. For the last, we also offer cloud-based hosting of this application, but we also offer the solution as an on-premise solution so that the OEMs can do that by themselves. Additionally to the products, which create most of our revenue, we also offer some professional services and consulting, design-in support, so that customers can focus on their core competence and do the implementation of the security and licensing solution in the most efficient way.
And maybe to an extent on that last point, one thing that we've seen in many aspects of the IoT market is a shift in terms of who is dealing now with IT technologies. And so you have a lot of business units, a lot of businesses that previously had very little engagement with IT. If they did, it was perhaps through an IT consultancy or an internal IT department that would primarily provide services as an administrative function. Now these are becoming very much the heart of many operations and many products. One case in point, we have the Mobike in China, and then their main competitor Ofo. So basically taking bicycles, a 300-year-old piece of technology, slapping on some connectivity and sensors to determine where the bike is it being used, and within about an 18-month period, these have both turned into unicorns, so a billion-plus valuation, and they've basically created a new market for shared bikes. You could say that traditionally the bike was not an IT market. Now the value is entirely in the data that these bikes are providing around where their customers are traveling, right? And so this is where the long-term business model is. It's not in providing the transportation. That's certainly one aspect of it, but it's also in providing to marketers information around how do I get home, which businesses do I pass by, so that in the future they'll be marketing to me as I bike home and advising me on where I should stop to buy my wife an anniversary gift. So as we start to see new traditional businesses and business departments that previously did not have to engage at a strategic level with IT now be confronted with a world where IT digitalization is at the heart of value creation, how is your customer base shifting? Are you still primarily working with IT departments, or are you now shifting how you actually structure your relationship with your customers?
Yeah, that's a good sample from the consumer area with this Mobike or Ofo. I'm myself using it when I'm in China, so that's very convenient and easy to use. We see the same, even if we are not in the consumer market, we see the same shift in the B2B segment. Doesn't matter if it's a medical device like an infusion pump or like a radiography, a large-scale radiography equipment for hospitals, or if you are in the industrial automation where sensors, actuators, PLCs, and the machines where these devices are built in. Mechanic is still, of course, necessary and important, but more and more value is created by the software in the machines, and more value is in the data. When we are talking about Industry 4.0 or Made in China 2025, one of the goals is to have a much more flexible production and to be able to produce products down to quantity one, individualized in a highly efficient way. And doing that, of course, much more data is getting into the production process. So the value of data is increasing a lot, and this data needs to be protected. This data needs to be licensed to make a business model out of that. And in case the sensor data, actuator data can be used for additional things than for the operation of the device itself, value is in this data as well. If you're looking in a connected car in the future, it will be somehow the same like with the bicycle. Today, of course, the renter of the bicycle knows exactly where you are driving and from how much you are using it, and so on. So we see that change in all industry, also in the industries that has no big software and data in the products in the past. That will change more or less everywhere.
And how is that impacting your relationship with these companies? Are you still primarily interfacing with the IT departments, or are you now having initial discussions or even signing contracts with the operating departments?
Yeah, normally we are talking mostly with the product management or product marketing of the companies. The development and IT department comes in place when the company's vision and company strategy has been decided that they need this protection and licensing technology to realize the new business models and to to benefit from the new chances. So it's security, and licensing is never done for the purpose of having it only. It's really done for opening new opportunities for the companies.
I see. Okay, so IT is generally playing more of an execution role once you've come aligned with the product department on priorities and what solution is actually needed for their products. Oliver, correct me. So it sounds like you work primarily with companies that are bringing solutions to market then. What about end users who want to secure devices? By that point, is it that the company that's producing this hardware should have already secured the device, or are you also working with end users who have asset bases and need retrofit solutions to secure existing assets?
So in fact, we are working not with end users normally. So large end users might be our customers, like large machine makers that have intensive own developments. But normally our technology is integrated into products. That can be integrated into an ATM that you find in the subway station. It's integrated in medical equipment that you see in hospitals or at your doctor's side. It's integrated in intelligent sensors, actuators, integrated in PLCs, integrated in operating systems. So our technology is mostly invisible and it's integrated into the product. For example, in the sample with Mobike and OFO, our technology could be integrated in the device that is having the connectivity to the cloud in the bicycle and making sure the identity of the bicycle. So it's something like a unique number that is individual to each bike.
Okay, very clear. Thank you. Last question on the company side. What do you see in the future for WIBU in the next, let's say, 1 to 2 years? New products coming out? Are you addressing new markets? Are there new use cases that you see developing that you plan to begin addressing?
Yes, we do. So generally, 1 to 2 years is very short term. It's even not midterm. But what we see even in this short term is that, especially in the IoT area, we will support more solutions where we can support the embedded security in CPUs in devices that don't require our hardware component. Additionally, we see that the cloud-based license deployment and tracking will become much more used as we have connectivity everywhere. So our goal really is to have one solution for protection, licensing, and security, and so for the monetization of the data-driven and software-driven business, from very small microcontroller-based devices and sensors to embedded and cyber-physical systems, PLCs, PCs, servers, even to license cloud-based software. And of course, all this with trust and confidence and continuity in products. That means compatibility and also continuity in people for our partners that we work with, and that might be suppliers, that might be customers, that might be research and development institutions, organizations like IIC, or in China, the Alliance Industrial Internet, the Platform Industry 4.0 in Germany, and business organizations as well.
Oliver, that's a good point. 1 to 2 years is very very short. What is the time span that you're looking at? Number one, as the CEO of a company, and number two, that your product development teams are looking at for your R&D pipeline.
Yeah, regarding the visions, we are really trying to look to 6 to 10 years, what we think that might be interesting in that, but that is of course too far away for concrete developments. The concrete developments are on the roadmap at least for 3 years. So we are now already planning solutions for the next 3 years, looking especially in the area of security. You are never ready, and security is never 100%. And what is secure today will not be secure in 10 years, that's for sure, and that's a challenge for all manufacturers from machines, for example, that are used for a very, very long time. So they need to think about renewable security, and we think about new security mechanisms that might become necessary in the next 5 to 10 years, for example, because of quantum cryptography. And all the mechanisms, the asymmetric encryption mechanisms used today with RSA or ECC, for example, the technology integrated in your key for online banking, for authentication, with quantum cryptography, they will no more work. Even if you increase the key length, that's not enough. So we need to think about new things. And for that, we are working closely together with research institutes. We are working together in funded programs from the European Commission or from the governments, really to work on these solutions on a long-term base. And that's necessary for our vision to continuously grow our company and to reaching higher and higher market share in the global market of software and data licensing and protection.
Excellent. Oliver, thank you so much for sharing this overview of WIBU, giving us some insight into your business. Let's go into more depth into the emerging use cases, into market trends in our following conversation. Before we move there, can you share with us how can somebody learn more about WIBU? How can they get in touch with you or with your team?
Yeah, so thank you very much, Eric, for the first discussion about the company. Yeah, the easiest step is to have a look on our website at www.wibu.com. And there you find also contact information to our offices in Shanghai, Beijing, in the US, in other Asian countries, in Europe, and in the headquarters in Germany. And everybody, of course, is welcome to contact me directly at oliver.winzenried@wibu.com. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Industrial IoT Spotlight. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at IoT1HQ and to check out our database of case studies on IoT1.com. We help to accelerate digital transformation by advising business leaders on how to integrate IoT technologies into their operations and products. We appreciate your thoughts, suggestions, and of course your reviews. And if you have an interesting project, we would love to feature you on a future edition. Write me at eric.walenza@iot1.com.